Constantius Chlorus, an unsung hero of the Roman Empire, from his humble beginnings in Illyricum around 250 AD to his rise as a formidable military leader and eventually emperor, Constantius played a pivotal role in securing the western provinces and laying the groundwork for his son, Constantine the Great. Producing these videos requires significant time and effort. If you're able and willing to support our work, we've set up a Patreon page and opened up YouTube memberships. Your support would mean the world to us. To those who have already joined, our sincerest thanks. Early life and background. Constantius I, or more commonly known as Constantius Chlorus, was born on the 31st of March, around 250 AD, in the province of Dardania, but the specific city or town remains unclear from historical sources, perhaps Naissus. His full name at birth was Flavius Valerius Constantius. His family hailed from low-ranking nobility, often described as equestrian rather than senatorial class. Despite his modest beginnings, Constantius exhibited qualities of determination, ambition, and competence from an early age, which would define his later career. The historian Eutropius provides some insight into his early life. Constantius, a man of splendid virtues, was born in the province of Dardania, of a noble family. His upbringing in the rugged and often tumultuous region of Illyricum likely instilled in him the resilience and military prowess that characterized his later achievements. The epithet Chlorus in his name means the pale. This nickname likely referred to his complexion, or possibly to a characteristic of his appearance. Roman nicknames often highlighted physical traits or notable characteristics, and in the case of Constantius Chlorus, Chlorus suggested a pallor in his complexion. The epithet also helps distinguishes him from other figures named Constantius in Roman history. In his work, De Caesaribus, Aurelius Victor describes Constantius as having a fair complexion, which aligns with this epithet. Constantius married Helena, a woman of humble origins who would later become Saint Helena, the mother of Constantine the Great. They had only one son together, Constantine, who was born in Naissus in 272 AD. However, as part of the political alliances of the Tetrarchy, Constantius was compelled to divorce Helena and marry Theodora, the stepdaughter of Maximian, in 288 AD. This marriage produced 6 children, securing his political alliances. An interesting claim about Constantius's heritage is the rumor that he was related to Emperor Claudius II Gothicus, who ruled from 268 to 270 AD. This claim, primarily propagated during the reign of his son Constantine the Great, aimed to bolster the legitimacy and prestige of the Constantinian dynasty by linking them to a revered former emperor. According to this tradition, Claudius II was either Constantius's uncle or grandfather. However, contemporary evidence supporting this claim is scant, and it is widely considered to be a part of the later Constantinian propaganda. The historian Aurelius Victor, writing in the mid-4th century, mentions this connection. The divine Constantius, it is said, was of the family of Claudius the Goth. However, modern historians generally regard this as a retrospective invention designed to enhance the standing of Constantine and his descendants. Whether or not Constantius was genuinely related to Claudius II, the association with such a prominent figure would have been advantageous in establishing the authority and respectability of his family. Military career and rise to power. Constantius Chlorus's early career was defined by his military service, where he quickly distinguished himself through his competence and loyalty. Serving under Emperor Aurelian, he gained recognition for his valor and strategic acumen during Aurelian's campaigns to reunify the fractured Roman Empire. This period, filled with internal rebellions and external threats, provided ample opportunities for a skilled soldier like Constantius to demonstrate his capabilities. One notable campaign was against the Palmyrene Empire, led by Queen Zenobia, which had seized control of large parts of the eastern Roman provinces. Under Aurelian's command, Constantius played a significant role in the campaigns that ultimately led to the reconquest of Palmyra and the restoration of Roman authority in the east. His performance in these campaigns helped solidify his reputation as a capable and reliable military leader. Constantius's abilities did not go unnoticed, and he rose through the ranks, eventually catching the attention of Emperor Diocletian, recognizing the need for capable and trustworthy leaders to manage the vast Roman Empire. Diocletian initiated a major administrative overhaul known as the Tetrarchy in 286 AD. This new system split the empire into 4 regions, each governed by a different ruler. On the 1st of March, 293 AD, Constantius was appointed Caesar and tasked with governing the western provinces, serving under Augustus Maximian. This appointment was a testament to his military prowess and political acumen. The Panegyrici Latini, a collection of Latin panegyrics, provides a contemporary view of his appointment. The whole world, O Constantius, was struck with joy when it learned that you had been chosen as Caesar by the judgment of Maximianus Augustus. Rule as Caesar and the reforms. As Caesar, Constantius Chlorus was responsible for the western provinces, including Gaul, Britannia, and Hispania. His tenure as Caesar was characterized by several significant military campaigns and efforts to stabilize these regions. One of the notable campaigns against the Franks occurred shortly after Constantius was appointed Caesar. He launched a series of military operations to push back the Franks, who had crossed the Rhine and were causing significant disruptions in Gaul. The historian Eutropius provides a brief account of these efforts. Constantius, a man of splendid virtues, repeatedly engaged the Franks and restored tranquility to the troubled provinces of Gaul. Constantius's approach was multifaceted. He not only engaged the Franks in battle, but also sought to secure the loyalty of the local populations and the Roman legions. His campaigns included rebuilding and strengthening fortifications along the Rhine, ensuring a more robust defense against future incursions. The Panegyrici Latini praises his military prowess. Constantius, with great valor and strategic acumen, repelled the barbarian hordes, fortifying the boundaries of the empire and bringing peace to the provinces. In addition to his military campaigns, Constantius also employed diplomatic measures to manage the Frankish threat. He negotiated with some Frankish leaders, securing agreements that would reduce the frequency and severity of their raids. These diplomatic efforts complemented his military actions, creating a more comprehensive strategy for maintaining stability in the region. The Franks were not formally made a vassal state in the sense of a full political subjugation. Instead, the relationship between Rome and the Franks evolved into one where certain Frankish leaders accepted Roman overlordship to some extent and agreed to serve as foederati. The term foederati refers to barbarian tribes that entered into treaties with Rome, agreeing to provide military assistance in exchange for certain benefits and a degree of autonomy. One of his most notable military achievements was his campaign in Britannia. In 286 AD, a naval commander named Carausius declared himself Emperor of Britannia and Northern Gaul. After Carausius was assassinated in 293 AD, his finance minister, Alectus, took over as ruler. Constantius was tasked with reclaiming these territories for the Roman Empire. In 296 AD, Constantius launched a well-coordinated attack to oust Alectus. He led a two-pronged invasion, with one fleet setting out from the mouth of the Seine and another from the Rhine. The operation was characterized by strategic brilliance and speed, catching Alectus off guard. The decisive battle occurred near Caleva Atrebatum, modern-day Silchester, where Alectus was killed and his forces were defeated. The Roman historian Eutropius recounts, Constantius fought against the usurper Alectus in Britain, whom he defeated and killed, recovering the province for the empire. Once back in Gaul, Constantius focused on restoring stability in a region that had suffered from the incursions of Germanic tribes and internal unrest. He embarked on several military campaigns to secure the Rhine frontier and rebuild the shattered infrastructure. One significant campaign was against the Alemanni, a confederation of Germanic tribes who posed a continuous threat to the Roman territories along the Rhine. Constantius successfully repelled the Alemanni and reinforced the fortifications along the Rhine, ensuring a more secure boundary. His approach combined military strength with diplomatic acumen, fostering loyalty among the local populace and the Roman legions. The Panegyrici Latini praises his efforts. Through the power and wisdom of Constantius, Gaul, once beset by calamities, was restored to its former glory. Constantius Chlorus was not only a capable military leader, but also an effective administrator. His governance of the western provinces included efforts to improve the efficiency and stability of the region. He focused on restoring cities that had been damaged during periods of conflict, rebuilding infrastructure, and revitalizing the economy. His policies aimed at increasing agricultural production and trade, providing a more stable economic foundation for the empire. One of his notable reforms was the implementation of the Edict on Maximum Prices in 301 AD. This edict, part of Diocletian's broader economic policies, aimed to curb inflation and stabilize the economy by setting maximum prices for various goods and services. While the edict's effectiveness was limited and it faced resistance, it demonstrated Constantius's commitment to addressing economic challenges. The historian Lactantius, although critical of the broader economic policies of the Tetrarchy, acknowledged the intentions behind such measures. Constantius, like Diocletian, sought to alleviate the suffering of the people through regulation, though the measures were often harsh. Ascension to Augustus. In 305 AD, the Roman Empire witnessed a significant political transition as Emperors Diocletian and Maximian voluntarily abdicated their positions, an unprecedented act in Roman history. Diocletian, suffering from ill health, retired to his palace in Split, while Maximian withdrew to a private life in Lucania. This act was part of Diocletian's broader plan to stabilize the empire and the often troubled succession through the Tetrarchy, which aimed to provide a smooth succession and prevent civil war. Their abdication allowed for the elevation of their Caesars, Constantius and Galerius, to the rank of Augusti, thereby promoting a new generation of leaders. And two new Caesars were appointed, Flavius Valerius Severus and Maximinus Daza. Severus was appointed Caesar under Constantius, while Maximinus Daza was appointed Caesar under Galerius, managing the eastern provinces. Both of the new Caesars seems to have been hand-picked by Galerius, undermining Constantius, sowing a seed of discontent and disunity in the new Tetrarchy. This restructuring aimed to ensure stability and continuity within the empire, though it ultimately led to further power struggles and conflicts. As both Constantine and Maximian's son, Maxentius was sidelined in this new Tetrarchy. This carefully orchestrated transition would ultimately lead to a series of conflicts and power struggles as the new leaders and their successors vied for control, demonstrating the inherent challenges in maintaining the tetrarchic system. As Augustus, Constantius faced the immense challenge of maintaining stability in the western provinces while ensuring the empire's borders were secure from external threats. One of Constantius's primary concerns was the defense of the empire against Germanic tribes along the Rhine frontier. His campaigns were both defensive and offensive, aiming to push back incursions and establish a more secure boundary. His military strategies were noted for their effectiveness and decisiveness, which played a significant role in preserving the western provinces during his reign. The Panegyrici Latini, a contemporary source of Roman oratory, provides insight into his leadership. Constantius, by the favor of the gods and his own valor, drove back the barbarians, restored the security of the provinces, and made the Rhine a boundary not to be crossed. In addition to his military campaigns, Constantius worked on rebuilding and fortifying key cities and infrastructure that had suffered from previous conflicts. His administrative efforts aimed to restore economic stability and ensure the smooth functioning of local governments. He invested in the reconstruction of roads, bridges, and fortifications, which facilitated better communication and defense throughout the western provinces. Eutropius highlights the relative peace and prosperity under Constantius's rule. During the reign of Constantius, the provinces of Gaul enjoyed such tranquility and good order that even the most remote and neglected parts of the empire felt the benefit of his administration. Despite his efforts to maintain stability, Constantius faced internal political challenges as well. The Tetrarchy system, while effective in dividing the administrative burden of the vast Roman Empire, also created potential conflicts of interest and competition among the four rulers. Constantius navigated these political waters with a combination of diplomacy and firm control, maintaining his position and authority in the West. Constantius' reign as Augustus was also significant for his relatively lenient stance towards Christians. Although the Great Persecution was underway, Constantius did not fully enforce the harsh measures decreed by Diocletian. Instead, he focused on maintaining public order without resorting to severe persecution, a policy that later influenced his son Constantine's approach to Christianity. The Christian historian Lactantius praises Constantius for his clemency. Among all the emperors, Constantius alone was gentle and merciful, preserving his humanity even in times of adversity and danger. The campaign against the Picts. The Picts were a confederation of tribes in what is now Scotland, known for their distinctive culture, art, and warrior society. They inhabited the region north of the Firth of Forth and the Firth of Clyde, an area the Romans referred to as Caledonia. The term, Pictae, the painted ones, was likely used by the Romans to describe these tribes, possibly referencing their practice of body painting or tattooing. By the late 3rd century AD, the Picts had grown increasingly bold in their incursions into Roman territory. The crisis of the 3rd century, marked by internal instability, economic troubles, and external invasions across the Roman Empire, weakened the Roman hold on Britannia. This period saw increased Pictish raids and pressure on the northern frontiers. In 296 AD, the Roman usurper Electus took control of Britannia after assassinating Carausius, who had declared himself Emperor of Britain and Northern Gaul. Electus's rule was brief and ended in 296 AD, when Constantius launched his successful campaign to reclaim Britannia. While this campaign was primarily against Electus, the broader context included ongoing threats from the Picts and other northern tribes. During the early 4th century AD, the Pictish threat continued to be a significant concern for the Roman authorities in Britannia. The historian Eumenius, writing in the late 3rd century, emphasized the persistent threat posed by the northern tribes, including the Picts. The Caledonians and other Picts, who inhabit beyond the frontier, were constantly harassing the Roman territories. Constantius recognized the ongoing threat posed by the Picts. His presence in Eboracum towards the end of his life was part of a broader strategy to secure the northern frontiers of the empire and deal with these persistent threats. Constantius's campaigns against the Picts were part of his efforts to stabilize and defend the western provinces. His military actions were aimed at repelling Pictish incursions, fortifying defenses, and ensuring the security of Roman territories in Britannia. The historian Eutropius notes, Constantius, who had gone to Britain to repel the inroads of the Caledonians, died at Eboracum in the presence of his son Constantine. Death and legacy. Constantius died on the 25th of July, 306 AD, in Eboracum. His death led to a significant turning point in Roman history, as his troops immediately proclaimed his son Constantine as Augustus. This act would eventually lead to Constantine's rise to power and the establishment of the Constantinian dynasty. Constantius Chlorus is often remembered for his military achievements and his role in the Tetrarchy, as well as for being the father of Constantine the Great. His reign laid the groundwork for his son's eventual establishment of Christianity as the dominant religion of the Roman Empire. The historian Lactantius offers a perspective on his character and rule. Constantius was a prince so good and so mild that none of the other emperors except his son Constantine was ever compared to him. Constantius's policies and actions reflected his commitment to the stability and prosperity of the western provinces. His ability to combine military prowess with effective governance earned him the respect and loyalty of both the military and the civilian population. Although Constantius himself was not a Christian, his policies toward Christians were notably more lenient compared to his contemporaries. During the Great Persecution initiated by Diocletian in 303 AD, Constantius limited his enforcement of the anti-Christian edicts in his territories. While his fellow tetrarchs conducted severe persecutions, Constantius restricted his actions to the destruction of church buildings rather than pursuing individual Christians. This relatively tolerant stance allowed Christianity to maintain a foothold in the western provinces. It also set a precedent that would influence his son Constantine, who would later become a pivotal figure in the history of Christianity. Eusebius of Caesarea, a contemporary historian and bishop, noted, "Constantius, unlike other rulers, showed mercy to the Christians and refrained from bloodshed. He is very well liked by the sources. Lactantius, in De Mortibus Persecutorum, offers high praise for Constantius Chlorus, contrasting him with the harsher rulers of his time. Lactantius emphasizes Constantius's mild and humane nature, stating, "Among all the emperors, Constantius alone was gentle and merciful, preserving his humanity even in times of adversity and danger." Eutropius, in his Breviarium Ab Urbe Condita, highlights Constantius' virtues and competence. He describes Constantius as a man of splendid virtues and acknowledges his ability to restore peace and stability in troubled regions. Aurelius Victor, in his work De Caesaribus, portrays Constantius as a fair and just ruler. He admires Constantius' modesty and reluctance to indulge in the excesses of power. Victor writes, "Constantius was distinguished by his fairness, modesty, and a preference for a simple life over the luxuries of imperial power." The Panegyrici Latini, a collection of Latin panegyrics, offers glowing tributes to Constantius's leadership and character. These orations praise his wisdom, courage, and ability to bring stability and prosperity to the provinces under his rule. The historian Zosimus, in Historia Nova, also acknowledges Constantius's positive traits, especially in comparison to other rulers of his time. He commends Constantius for his wise and courageous leadership, which prepared the way for his son, Constantine's achievements. Constantius, by his wisdom and courage, left a legacy of stability and strength, preparing the way for his son to achieve greatness. The ancient sources collectively paint a picture of Constantius Chlorus as a fair, just, and humane ruler. He is celebrated for his virtues, mildness, and effective leadership. His ability to bring stability and prosperity to the provinces under his control, coupled with his modesty and preference for a simple life, distinguish him as one of the more admirable figures in Roman imperial history. His character and actions lay the groundwork for the subsequent rise of his son, Constantine the Great. Thanks for watching the video. If you found the video informative, please like and subscribe. If you have the means, please consider supporting our work on Patreon or via a YouTube membership. Next video in this series will be on Constantine the Great. Buckle up, it's going to be a long one.